New videos every day.
My husband, he understands me very deeply. He really knows me, and I can say we have a deep intimacy. But you know, I've had boyfriends in the past who I don't know if they were as capable of having that deep intimacy with me. And well, think about it. We all know somebody who we feel we can really connect with, and we feel that deep intimacy with. And then there are others who you can tell they just maybe they're not as capable of this intimacy. So what's the difference? What's the difference between those people that we can make those intimate connections with and the people who have more difficulty with that? There are these very special people who seem to be able to be intimate with many. They connect with everyone. And it's almost magical. There's something magical about them. They can make these deep connections with so many people. So what is it about these people? Well, maybe you've noticed that these people who can have all of this intimacy with so many people, one thing about them is they're not critical. It's safe to talk to them. If you remember, we talked earlier about secrets and how important it is to share secrets with one another to build this intimacy. Well, these very special people, you can tell them your secrets and they won't criticize you. They won't be critical of you. They accept you for who you are. They listen and they acknowledge, and they still grant you this, it's okay to be you. And you feel safe telling them, communicating to them. So there's a safety factor. How safe are you? Are you the kind of person that somebody could tell their secrets to and you won't criticize them or judge them? Are you the kind of person where you can listen to an idea you disagree with and then not go right back and attack the person for it? If you're a safe person, then you're capable of intimacy. So this applies to physical intimacy as well, and romance. I mean, how safe is it to have sex with somebody who's going to turn around and cheat on you? That's not safe at all. How safe do you feel with a partner who physically abuses you? There can't be any intimacy there. How safe do you feel when somebody criticizes you or berates you or makes you feel stupid? There's no safety there. There's also no safety when somebody is emotionally unstable. 1 minute they're yelling at you and the next minute, they're apologizing. And I think that divorce is the ultimate statement of, you know what, it's not safe to communicate with you. It's not safe for me to communicate with you, so I have to leave you. When I grew up, my mother was always correcting me. Stand up straight, fix your hair, cut your hair, whatever. She's very critical of me. And don't get me wrong, I really love my mother. But everything I did, she just always had something to say about it, to criticize it or correct it or something. And I did not feel safe communicating to her either, because she was so hypercritical of everything. You knew you couldn't divulge any secrets at all, because that she would just go off. On the contrary, my grandmother, her mother, accepted everything about me. My hair was always nice. Anything I did, she loved. And the way I stood was okay with her, and the way I acted was just fine with her. And my grandmother spoke German, and if you know anything about Germans, they can be a bit critical and harsh, especially when you speak incorrectly. But with my grandmother, when I tried to speak German, she never corrected me. She never fixed anything I said. I could just communicate freely in this half English, half German, mostly laughter. We totally got each other. There was an intimacy there, and it had all of the components that we've been talking about. There was communication, free-flowing communication. She got what I said, and she accepted what I said. There was not this criticalness at all. I could divulge things to her without any fear of being judged. I could tell her secrets, and I trusted her. There was safety. There was a safety in communicating and being myself. I could just be myself. So all of the components of intimacy were there. This is worth really noting. If you're not a safe person to love, then it's going to be a lot harder to develop intimacy with you. For example, if you're an abusive husband and you're always yelling at your wife, you're not a safe person to build intimacy with. If you're a wife who flies off the handle every little thing that the husband does, well, you're not a safe spouse either to love. And if you've done something bad and you're kind of afraid you're going to get found out and get in trouble, and you're not a safe person to love either. And if you're, if somebody has done something bad and they admit it to you and you just are punishing them for it, well, then the punisher is not safe to love either. My friend has this theory about if you want to be loved, and I like it. It makes sense to me. And he says, if you want to be loved, then you have to be safe to be loved. So let me say that again. If you want to be loved, you have to be safe for another person to love you. So think about that. Really think about that. What would that mean? How could you be safe for another person to love you? What does that mean you have to do? What does that mean you have to be like? Think about that. I think that your potential for intimacy has to do with how safe are you for another person to love you. That's it. Those have been some of my ideas on intimacy. I'm interested in hearing, what are your ideas? What have you observed? Have you seen some of the same things I've observed? Do you have some stories that you could share? Like, have you seen where if you share a secret with somebody and they criticize you for it or make fun of you or even raise an eyebrow, that you feel no longer safe with that person? Have you seen that or felt that safety factor with somebody, and you knew that you could totally be yourself with that person, and that person wasn't going to criticize you, and they were going to, and you could even disagree with them and they would still accept you? If you've seen these things, I want to hear about them. Share with us. I want to hear your stories too.